Hey guys, it's Nichole Eaton with the Rock Your Soul book and podcast, where we talk about how to hack your mindset, grow your intuition, and live your best life. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rock Your Soul. I'm your host, Nichole Eaton, author of the book Rock Your Soul, the Down-to-Earth Guide to Mastering Your Mind, and Soul Therapist. You can catch up with me on my website at www.nicholeeaton.com and social media, nicholeeaton.xo on Instagram, and you can join my Facebook group, Rock Your Soul, on Facebook. So I was trying to think, what do I feel called to talk about this week? And I've had interviews last few weeks, so that's, just flowed very easily. But this week, we're coming into Thanksgiving. This is the Thanksgiving episode. Da, 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 da. So I was thinking about gratitude. And then I was thinking about my problem with gratitude. And that's going to sound funny because, I'm somebody who preaches, taking care of yourself and being positive mindset. But my problem with gratitude is this. It's important. It's great. It's wonderful if you can get into that space. But sometimes when you're really low, gratitude can feel like the furthest thing from the truth. And as much as it's great to be thankful, sometimes we're too low to find the connection with gratitude. And if we think of our thoughts and positive thoughts on a frequency scale, right? We've got our low thoughts, our angry thoughts at the bottom of this scale. And as we move our way up, we actually have neutral thoughts. And then we have kind of maybe a bored thought, or we have, positive thinking or happiness and joy. So our thoughts actually move on a frequency scale along with us. So when we're in a low space, or we're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, or we've had our mind on something that's really challenging, we can get into this space where it's like, oh, I should be grateful. And should is like my arch nemesis word, right? So when I think of the word should, I think that we get into a space where we add guilt to something we're already not doing. Should is never a proactive functional word. It's more of a word that takes our inaction a lot of times and makes us feel bad for it. So I want you to be watching yourself. If you're catching yourself this week and I should be enjoying this, I should be grateful. What do you need to do? And this is the better question. What do you need to do to enjoy it? What do you need to do to find a space where you're grateful? Where are small places where you can start being or feeling grateful? And maybe it's just simply finding a quiet moment with a cup of coffee and just feeling into that present moment. When we can get present in our lives, we can feel and have easier access to gratitude. It's when we aren't present in our lives. And what I mean by that is a lot of time in humanity, it's not just you, in humanity, a lot of our time is being completely absorbed by past thoughts based on past events, or future thoughts based on future unknown events. So we can go one or two ways of where our energy is. But if our energy isn't in the moment, we're not connecting with the thought or feeling anyway. We're just saying it, we're just writing it, we're going through the motions of it. And I think that's a very dangerous thing when it comes to doing the work, right? When it comes to healing your life, when it comes to truly embodying any of this positivity, any of this happiness, we can't skip steps. And we can't go further or above and beyond where we're already at. We have to really be able to recognize, understand, and meet ourselves where we're at, because otherwise we're putting yourself in a position where you're just feeling bad about not being there. So your job is to not necessarily, if you're in a space that gratitude's feeling hard, or you're in the past thought and you're obsessing about a past event, or you're in a future thought and you're obsessing about a future event, your job is really just to bring your energy into the moment. And then you might play with wording, right? I don't like the word gratitude. I don't know if I just didn't grow up using that specific term, but the feeling of gratitude is in your heart center. You can kind of feel that when you're really thankful for something or something really good has happened, you feel that in your heart. It's almost like your heart opens and expands. So finding words for you that also initiate that feeling will also enact the frequency of gratitude and the feeling of appreciation without using words that feel false, phony, or disconnected from your truth, your reality, and just your natural verbiage. So you might choose words like, I don't like to use I feel gratitude or grateful. Those words don't have the same impact when it comes to actually feeling it in my body, because that's what matters when it comes to changing your life. It's, again, not going through the motions of it. It's actually feeling it, embodying it, and experiencing it within your person. Your job is to find the correct words that resonate with you. And for everybody, that's different. For me, like, I'll say something like, I really love when that happens. I really love having a quiet moment, drinking my coffee, doing some manifestation work. I really love connecting with an old friend or catching up or grabbing, coffee or drinks with a friend. I really love. And so for me, love also equates to gratitude. It does the same thing in my heart. It opens it up. It's for me a connection of appreciation, or maybe it's I really appreciate. I really appreciate that you did that for me. I really appreciate those flowers you got. I really appreciate the way you've checked in on me when I was having a rough week. You can do this in so many different ways, and it all is kind of the same thing. It's about accessing it so it's the best fit for you. So it's a true, genuine feeling, because again, we get bogged down in this time, in this holiday season, where we get into the automatic motions and we go through the motions of things instead of experiencing them directly. So pulling your energy into the present moment is the first step. The second step is to find the words and the things that make sense for you. And the third is to recognize if you're putting pressure on yourself to be somewhere you're not. That is, I think, the biggest culprit in blocking your success to anything, in my opinion, is if you're trying to be somewhere you're not. I should be happy right now because, some people don't have food and water, or I should be happy right now because it doesn't actually take away the feelings that already are negative inside of you by creating a comparison that somebody has it worse. But it does add guilt onto an already crappy feeling. So then we're stacking negative emotions. And then instead of just dealing with this negative feeling I have and trying to figure out how to manage and move through and process through that, we're feeling guilt, we're feeling shame, we're feeling embarrassment, but we're still not out of that emotion. So if you're using should or could or would in your phrasing throughout your day, and this is something to be incredibly mindful of because this can be a game changer. If you're using those phrases, you're adding insult to injury, basically. You're adding a layer of guilt onto an already crappy situation. Instead, you can pull your energy back up by simply breathing, following the air, redirecting your focus. What's good right now? What's okay right now? Even if it's not good, what's okay right now? Again, our scaling of emotions goes from high to low, so we can meet it neutral and then build. We don't have to meet it great. We don't have to go from low to high. That's really not how our frequency in our body and our mind works. Is we can't do a 180 when we don't inherently believe that's possible, or when we're having a really hard time. So I want you to give yourself compassion and grace for the things that, maybe the holiday season brings up. I know for a lot of people it feels lonely. I know for a lot of people it feels stressful, or I know for people who have had difficult family dynamics, it feels isolating or triggering. So your job is to take really damn good care of yourself in this season, in this week, as you approach Thanksgiving. It's to hold compassion. And you might even just put your hand over your heart and take a big, deep breath and just understand that this may be a hard week. And then I want you to just say, okay, but what if it's not? What if it's okay? What if something really good happens? What if I feel better than I thought I was going to feel? And by just sparking the what if, we're shifting out of that, oh my God, what's going to happen? Or, oh my God, this is a really hard time period for me, to maybe it can be okay. Maybe it could even be good. Because when we start to set our intentions early on, I actually talked about this. I'm doing a live course called the Comeback Course, which will be released in the end of December for full access. It will be a standalone course on my website, so keep an eye out for that. But I was just talking about in class is, what do you expect from people around you? like, what do you really expect? Because as we enter into this season, what do you expect people to be, act like, or do? Because you have to understand that when you start to expect that this person's going to be controlling and overbearing, and maybe that they historically have been, but when you start to tell yourself that, you kind of create a pre-anxiety, first of all. And then second of all, you get into this space where you're dreading it. And then you're perceptually telling your brain to see that about that person. So you don't have to understand and have a history with somebody who's controlling and overbearing, or you don't have to have, a history with somebody who's super dramatic and always causes a fight and always gets angry. But like, you can acknowledge that that's real, that's really happened. But I'm not choosing to see that side of that person anymore. I'm not choosing to let that into my experience, because at the end of the day, your thoughts are absolutely controlling what you see in your reality. And I truly believe, even with other people, even with people who are predictable in that way, I truly believe that we can change our perception of that person by rewriting what we expect of them. So maybe it's, again, we don't want to do a 180. Maybe it's that this, Aunt Susie always shows up drunk to the holiday party and causes a scene. Maybe it's that I'm choosing to believe that she's, it's going to be good this year, or there's going to be moderation. Whatever that is, I'm choosing to believe that I can have a good interaction with her. And so it's rewriting a story. And I think with people, it can be challenging to rewrite our expectations of them, because what our brain likes to do is compile evidence. So we have our beliefs about people because we've seen the evidence that this is who they choose to be. Do I believe people can change? Yeah. Do I believe that we have to be conscious of how much we're expecting other people to change? Absolutely. But do I believe that sometimes we can shift our perception, choose a new reality for ourselves, and still have everybody else experience their expected reality? Yeah. So again, like, I just think of somebody in my family who was really hard to be around, very irritable, very dramatic, lots of chaos that comes with this person. And a while ago, I just said, I don't want that in my life. I don't want that chaos. I don't want that irritability. I don't want that power over type stuff. I'm choosing to see the best in this person. I have positive interactions with this person. And I began to change my mindset around what that had to look like with my connection with this person. And it shifted everything. Now, other people still see that version of that person that I'm talking about. They still see that dramatic, overbearing, power tripping type version of that person, but I don't, because it's the energy I reset. It's the mindset, mentality that I reset. And I really, even if we're all in the same room, that person's not picking a fight with me anymore. So you get to choose your reality. Even when it comes to other people, you can't make people do things, but you can decide what's okay for you in your reality. What reality would you like to choose from? And when you change your energy and your natural energy, and your energy is calm and peaceful, and your frequency is in a good neutral space, even, it does change how people respond to you. It does change how people interact with you. So doing something as simple as taking a deep breath, writing some new intentions for yourself. Who do you want to be in the room? How do you want people to connect with you? How open do you want to be to receiving love? I love asking these questions because I think that we don't think enough about it. We just show up, and who we show up as is our past self. Our past self is comprised of who we've been, who we used to be, events that have led up to that we've sat in long enough that they've created a mood and personality around. But the good news, and I wrote this on my Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you do, NicholeEaton.xo. I wrote this on my Instagram, that you are a representation of your past self, which means that your thoughts right now are creating your future self. It's creating a future new personality. You don't have to stick with what you've created. This is just a product of things that you've thought over and over again that have created neural pathways in your brain, that have created chemical responses, that have set your energy. And now it's just doing it automatically. You don't have to be that if you don't like it. If something's not working for you, you have every power to change it. You are not like fixed person. You have the power to be more calm, more gentle, more centered. You have the power to not let things impact you and defeat you in the same ways that you used to experience that. But you have to start by choosing now, and you have to start by claiming your energy and your power back. I did Power Hour on my Facebook group, Rock Your Soul. That was a free class. It's pinned at the top. Make sure to watch it because it's got a lot of good stuff in it. But it's about reclaiming your power. It's about pulling your energy back to yourself, filling up, and then you can spread your energy and spread your light out when you're full. But you can't do that when you're drained, and you can't do that when your mentality is spread so far in the past or so far in the future that you're nowhere to be seen in the present moment. The present moment is the life that's actually worth living. And if you can find that, you're golden. If you can find that, you can connect with your gratitude. If you can find that, you can peacefully approach other people. If you can find that, then you can change the way you see things, you see people, and you see your world around you. I had a good conversation with a friend the other day, and she's going through a transition in her life, and we talked about, different opportunities or different paths that she could possibly take. And she was saying, I feel like if I do this, then this, and this might happen. And if I move here, then this is kind of the dynamic of what kind of people live here. And I said to her, I'm like, you are blocking yourself before you start a manifestation, and you can't even finish it because you've already decided it's not going to work before you put it out there. So if you're in a space similar to that, your job is not to decide how things have to work or what they're going to be like when you get there. Your job is to design it for yourself. And maybe you don't make the action move. Maybe you just sit in the new energy. Maybe you just work on building your energy up so that you can change your mind about things. Because the world doesn't have to be doom and gloom. It doesn't. And if it is, you have the power to change it. You have the power to switch into a space where you are loving things around you and appreciating things around you. You are in healthy dynamics and relationships. You do have people around you who love you and support you. But you have to start at the drawing board of yourself, and you have to call your own shit out. You have to be able to look at yourself and say, wow, this is where I shut down and fuck up. This is where I want or expect something to work that I know doesn't work. This is up to you. You are entirely up to you. So your job is to take ownership of that by bringing your energy back in the present, learning more about yourself and how you work, understanding your expectations of people, the world, of money, of love, of fun, all of those things. So this was supposed to be a very short episode on gratitude, and we've dove a little deep, but I want you to be thinking about, what is my gratitude word? What is the word that opens my heart? Is it love? Is it appreciation? Maybe it's just accessing that emotion or that feeling of your heart opening before you even try those things. Maybe gratitude's too big. But again, we're reducing the use of should. We're just being mindful of our energy being expended into past moments and future unknowns. You calling your energy back creates space around you to receive things that you actually want. Instead of expending it in all these areas that just simply haven't been working, you can choose differently. And I know you will. I feel that for you because you're still here and you're still listening. So your job is to take your power back, rewrite your future, design it, explore what things, and maybe you don't know. And I think that is something that people get very hung up on. And I know for me at times that I have gotten stuck with, I don't even know what I want to do right now. I don't know what path I want to go or direction. I could sit in that energy for so long. But the big thing I'll say to you is avoid the word I don't know. Because if we think about it as a perceptual filter, the universe has to give you things to see, and your mind has to give you things to see that you don't know about. You will see what you tell your brain to see. If you're saying, I don't know, you're going to see a bunch of things to not know about. If you're telling your brain, it's getting more clear every minute. And maybe you don't know what that is, but my career options are getting more clear every minute. It's like the path is just unfolding for me. And it's easier than it's ever been. I love that as an end cap phrasing. I love that and putting that on the end of a manifestation, because we don't have to let this be hard. We might have decided it's hard, or it might have felt challenging in the past, but maybe it's easier than it's ever been. And maybe just adding that phrase allows the ease of it to seep in. That's, again, one of my favorite phrases. And I told this story in that comeback course, but I'm going to tell you guys this because it's amazing. I own another company that most people don't know about, but I own a separate company. I sell some stuff on eBay. It's very lucrative, but I had an issue with eBay in September, and they shut down my account, and they shut down my I had so much money just sitting in eBay, and they wouldn't transfer it because they said my bank account didn't match my LLC for that company. And so, people, of course, the general consensus is that it has to be challenging to work and deal with eBay. Man, they don't even have a contact number. You have to give them your information and wait 48 hours for a call. It's just a long process, right? So when we start to tell ourselves something's complicated or a long process, what does it have to be? What does the energy of that have to become? So it had been a month, and I had sat in that reality for a month of just, this is going to be challenging. And then I found out that they weren't even letting me sell certain things and receive money. So people would buy stuff and try to pay, and they couldn't. And I was getting all these messages that not only were they holding my money, but now I couldn't even sell on eBay. So I was really upset about this and frustrated, and that's a significant amount of money. That's what I rely on, blah, blah, blah. So I go into this class the night before, and I'm talking about switching out your realities and how different perceptions, different energies switch out your realities. And I realized at that moment, after I finished that class, what reality have I been allowing for this eBay situation? So the next morning I woke up, and I just sat, and I just envisioned the energy being clear around me over the situation between me and eBay. I literally envisioned light pouring over top of us. And then I rewrote, and I just said, okay, I'm grateful this is resolved. I'm so grateful that it was resolved, and it was quick and easier than it's ever been. And I have to tell you that within 30 minutes, I got an email saying that they had rechecked my bank account information. It was all good to go. They sent the money over. They unblocked all my seller accounts. And so 30 minutes after dealing with it for a month. And I swear to you, it was because I sat down and just decided that was resolved. Instead of deciding it had to be long drawn out and frustrating, and keep putting the energy out that they were holding my money. Do you know what I mean? So whatever it is you're up against right now, ask yourself if you're deciding it has to be hard, and then choose differently. Reset the energy. Take a bubble bath. Take an Epsom salt bath. Clear the energy around you. Get into a place where you can meditate, clear your energy, and then reset new intentions. That's the magic. That's the magic, is that you're choosing the reality that you're having. So how do we begin to shift and change your reality based on something better? Now, I'm not, this is a tricky subject, but I'm not going to dive into, some things are fated. Some things have to happen, but most of our inconveniences throughout the day don't. So if it's a major, major big thing and you're like, that's not a fair statement, Nichole, I didn't choose this. No, you didn't choose the big bad stuff. You really didn't. But if it's little inconveniences throughout your day, or you've had trouble with something or chaos with someone, your job is to clear the energy, reset what you'd like for that to, what you'd like to happen, how you'd like a resolve, and just see how it goes. We're not pushing, we're not forcing, we're just seeing, we're just exploring, we're just playing. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this episode. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope that you have your own power back throughout this week, whether it's with family, whether it's with friends, whether you're feeling whatever kind of feelings that you choose to elevate your emotions a little differently. Find some love, find some openness in your heart center, and just feel through that. I'm here if you need anything. www.nicholeeaton.com. Join my Facebook group, Rock Your Soul. And again, I'll be releasing the comeback course at the end of December. So keep an eye out for that. I've just been watching my clients have the most powerful, crazy, and it's just so fast, powerful and crazy changes in their life, to their finances, to their love life. And I absolutely can't wait to blast this out for you guys. Have a good Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Rock Your Soul book and podcast. Take a moment to book a one-on-one personalized soul therapy session with me or catch a live event by visiting www.nicholeeaton.com or follow me on Instagram at nicholeeaton.xo. Thank you.